The main job today was to sort out the mass failing after complaining bitterly about Selden.
I bitterly complained about Selden's lack of getting in touch, but since then, I'll update you on that in a minute. But first of all, I'd like to say thanks to Richie who pointed out the shackle, because he came out and looked at all the boats after the storm, and that was really helpful because a couple of people needed to do some stuff to secure their boats again. And although mine wasn't critical, it was something that needs doing just in case we have another big storm like that. So yeah, thanks Richie. He's a grand lad who comes out early in the morning, I might add, some ridiculous time, some not get up time clock, you know. But anyway, so the job today is to have a look at this failing. As I say, I criticise Selden because a year ago I contacted him, heard nothing. I contacted him again, heard nothing. And so I thought enough's enough really. And I've been in touch with the riggers that have been suggested to be uh, recommended by Selden last year. But the one I got in touch with was really not helpful at all. It was basically, oh, well, why don't you think of getting rid of the system? And as you know, that's not what I want to do. It's a fairly costly event, buying new sails and everything, so that's not something I wanted to do. So now the object is I contacted Selden. Selden got back to me and sent me a lovely sheet, a PDF of all the problems with the type of Selden. And I've got basically mine was the very first in-mast bolt-on.
This is the PDF that Selden sent me. As you can see, here is the drum. This is the drum system I have that goes into, this is called Reefing Plus. And then the line that goes round the in-hole wraps round there like that. So you can pull it in on, or pull it out on that. And that's the, up there we have the sail that goes to the outhole, which you pull in from the winch. So that's the system. But you notice on the other side here, and you can see this quite clearly on this diagram, that here you've got no bearing at the top at all. There's absolutely no bearing there. And there's a little grommet at the top. But the rest of it is something that is just an upright rod, really. And that's all there is to my system. The more modern system here, you can see, has a line. You can take a line out of the drum, the same as mine was, and it's a thinner drum as well. But you can actually winch it in at the bottom there. You can see the handle with the winch, and it's on a mechanism, a cog mechanism. But the main thing is, if you look to the right again, you will see right at the top there, there's a bearing, and that is that's the key. The main problem with these is the rod tends to get slack, but you can tighten them up, and that makes a big difference. But that's the later model, so, that's the model to have, really. So, now to work on mine. Thanks to both Martin and David, both different companies, but I'll put those on the list. I'll show those on their website because they were absolutely helpful. They were fantastic. The time that they spent with me, talked me through all the potential problems, and to be honest with you, today is about trying and seeing whether they work. The main thing I've got to do, which is get rid of this vang, because this won't move at all. It's solid at the moment. So I need to just disconnect that and see whether that makes the difference, because until I've got that off, or until I can get that working properly, I can't lift the boom. And they, like everybody else has said, the boom needs to be higher to be able to get that outhole level with the end of the boom, so it'll pull out a lot easier. And that's something I'm going to work on now and see whether we can sort that. But yeah, getting it off, it wasn't easy. After a lot of hammering and a lot of leverage, I managed to free it, and it just fell off then. But the main thing was to try and get the slider that controls the Vang and the Vang adjustment rope, get that to work, and it was very, very tight indeed. I couldn't get that to move, but I greased it and managed to shift it a bit, but it still wouldn't come out. And the reason why is the rope is so badly rotted. Really, it's solid as a rock because it could do with taking off, a good cleaning, or in fact replacing. To be honest with you, and also the feed through to the cockpit area is wrong, so I need to adjust all of that. But these are some of the things that cause a problem trying to get the topping lift, the boom raised. Once I was able to adjust the line and get it freed up, it started to pull the trolley, I suppose, that would pull the Vang out. So I think with a lot of the work on that, I can get that sorted. It will take a lot of work though. I think a replacement outhaul for that would work. So I'll get that sorted, but not now. So the next job to see if I can raise that boom, and without the Vang on, the boom started to come up. It was still quite difficult. So obviously I needed to reduce the main sheet as well. But I was able to pull that boom a lot higher than I had been able to previously. With the boom raised, I managed to start to winch out the sail. And note, I am saying winch the sail out. I'm not pulling it, and it's beginning to winch itself out. Still very stiff, still a lot of tension on it, but I think if I can raise the boom a bit more, and I'll try that in a minute. But the other thing is, which Martin suggested, was to release the actual halyard on the mainsail, and I'm going to do that next. To do that, obviously I need to take the mainsail right the way out, but it is winching out, and you can see the track line there, the outhaul is a lot more parallel to the boom now, so that's making it a lot easier. And it did come out with just the winch, but it was still hard work. And now the idea is to release that halyard and see whether that works. By reducing the halyard slightly, I started to pull in the mainsail, and that went in relatively easy. I can't believe the difference that made. I was able to pull it straight in. This block here, you can see the sail didn't go in all the way, unfortunately, because I need to sort out now the line because it's not going in. That's at its maximum stretch now, so I need to adjust that. That's not difficult to do. I can sort that out quite easily. But yes, I think this has solved it, to be honest with you. A roller outhaul car would make a big difference. Mine's friction, but I need to sort that out. Along with all the pulleys, the various rollers, they all need greasing. The ropes need replacing. And I think, to be honest with you, if it did that, it'd be even more easy because I can't believe what the difference those few jobs have made. And now I can put the van back. I was doubtful whether that would go back, given that I'd moved it. But in fact, I was able to do that. As I say, I need to replace the line on that because that is so difficult to pull. That's me just trying to pull it through. The line is actually loose at this stage, but it still springs back. Still springs back away from it, so trying to get that line adjusted. You can see how rotten it is, and that's solid. That's like a rod rather than the rope. So I think to clean all that up would make a big difference, and service all these joints, lubricate this as well, and then we should be okay, I think, to go. So the thing is, all back in position now, and the idea is to try and pull that, and you can see I can put tension on it, and it just about locks in, but then trying to pull that vang back is so difficult. I'm putting a lot of pressure on the winch at the moment, and you can see it's just not moving. So I think a few more things need to be done with that car underneath, and see whether we can adjust that or lubricate that. Whether you can get a wheeled one of those or not, I don't know. I presume you can. Taking a closer inspection of the line and where it goes to for the vang adjustment, I noticed something really interesting. This line here, if you look at it, it actually goes not through the pulley, but on the outside of the pulley. No wonder there's loads of friction on that. I've never used it, to be honest with you. Therefore, I haven't bothered with it. But dear me, all that needs rearranging. As I say, I need a new line for that. Those are the rings for the other lines, and they're a bit narrow. I think they need to be bigger. But anyway, I can look at all that. Perhaps I need a new roller system like that one. But these are all things, small things to get sorted. And to be honest with you, I can't believe that those two measures today, lifting the boom, dropping the halyard, have made the difference it's made. So yes, a lot to rectify once the boat's off the water, but a big thanks, and a real big thanks, to David Barden from Allspars. I'll put their website up. They really helped in talking me through some of the issues that I would have to deal with. And they mentioned the card that needs replacing, and getting the angle right for that boom. And that was a great help, as we know. And then Martin Leaning, masts and rigging, they were really helpful, and they were the ones who said to try and drop the halyard, loosen the halyard on the mainsail, and that made a vast difference as well. So the job now is, when the boat's off the water, get these lines replaced, get all the bearings greased, get the pulleys greased, and redirect the cables, the lines, so that they run a lot easier, and hopefully next season will be easy to sail with in-mast sailing, which I love and always have liked, but this has been a nightmare. But yeah, thanks for watching, and thank you again to Martin and David from the various companies. I'll put those lists up now.